Hello and welcome to the stream. Let's go ahead and see what we can get into. We're going to do a little bit of Art Bell. This came out December 18th, 1997.
David Oates. David Oates, as you probably will know shortly, has himself a speech impediment. That is what led David to a study of speech in general, our speech. Our language, whether it be English or any other language, and reverse speech, as you will certainly learn in a moment, applies to all language. Otherwise, it would not be a discipline that could be scientifically proven. At any rate, David's speech impediment obviously led him into studying language many, many years ago. And he has now developed something called reverse speech. Now, if I understand reverse speech correctly, it will reveal, in other words, when you take a forward speech, as I am now presenting to you, forward speech, I hope you regard it that way, and you actually reverse it at the regular speed, every so often there will appear an intelligible a statement in reverse. Now, this statement is very dangerous to a lot of people, including not only those who make it, but David Oates himself. He has had horrid things happen to him since doing all of this. His house was burned down. He has received threats. He has been literally of late under siege. Here is David Oates. Welcome to the program, David.
Hi, how are you?
I'm just fine. Great to have you on the program again.
Oh, it's good to be back. It really is.
Now, I don't think I did a very good explanation of what reverse speech is. So would you give us your 101?
Okay. Well, essentially, I'm proposing a brand new theory about linguistics and the function of language. Essentially, what I'm claiming is that the process of spoken communication is twofold. As the human brain is constructing the sounds of speech, putting those sounds together in such a way that we're delivering two messages simultaneously. The first message is audience, which is forward, which is obviously how I'm talking to you now, and that is being generated by the left brain hemisphere. The second message is unconscious, is occurring from the right brain hemisphere and is literally backwards. It is embedded backwards into the sounds of our speech. So quite literally, as you said, if speech is recorded and played backwards, approximately once every 10 or 15 seconds, and that varies depending on the emotional intensity of the conversation, but roughly once every 10 seconds or so, you can hear this very clear and precise, intelligent statement that my research indicates is what we are thinking and feeling at the time of speaking, not just on the conscious level, but on the unconscious level as well. So the totality of human thought is quite literally embedded backwards into the sounds of our speech. It is an automatic function of the human mind that has previously been undiscovered and unresearched.
And the dangerous aspect is that what is recoverable in reverse speech is the truth. In other words, you could be saying one thing in forward speech, as I am right now, and in reverse, it could reveal that what I'm saying forward is a dead flat lie.
Exactly correct. And the truth can be very blunt and to the point.
And dangerous.
Extremely dangerous. I mean, if you consider our society, our whole society has been molded on well, I was going to say lies, deception. I don't want to get that way.
No, it really is true, David. I think that if the absolute truth was always told, society would collapse.
Certainly the way it's constructed now, yes, society has been built on a false premise, and reverse speech cuts right through that, and some of the things that come out are really quite shocking and mind-blowing. I mean, I have difficulty believing some of the stuff that I find on occasion, but it always validates itself, in many different ways. You know, I just heard from a friend of mine in Australia just last week, a murder case I worked on about 10 years ago, that pinpointed a specific suspect for the crime was finally solved, and the that was exactly who the reversal said it was.
Now, here is where the real danger is. When you are working on murder cases, whether it be the Ramsey case or any other case, and you come up with reversals indicating a suspect or indicating guilt, obviously you cannot come right out and say they are guilty, but their own sense indict them. And I think the proof is in the pudding. Now, your house was burned down.
Yes, it was.
Under very suspicious circumstances not long ago, but there has been even more recent horrendous threatening activity toward you, and a lot of the audience has heard about it. What has been recently occurring, David?
Well, essentially, 2 weeks ago, I received another death threat. The frightening thing about this was that it came from the second phone line in my house, and there was.
How do you know that?
We did a call trace on it. Simply a star 69 on my phone, and the other phone line rang.
The other phone line in your own house?
In my own house, and there was no one in the house at the time. I mean, I live in a barricaded property now. I've got big gates and barbed wire fence around my 5-acre lot. The only people home was me and my 3 kids.
So there would have been only 2 ways this could have occurred. Somebody would have been out at the junction box near your house, or they would have been connected somehow in the phone company to be able to accomplish.
Well, I mean, it's not difficult to do that with modern surveillance techniques, or there's many ways to access through computers of phone company systems. I don't know what to say. But it was rather frightening, to say the least. 5 minutes prior to that, there was a tremendous odor in the house. The whole house reeked to high heaven. It smelled like skunk. I don't know what it was. And then the call came 5 minutes later. My dog totally freaked out. A few minutes after that, ran down the bottom property. We could see him again for about 10 minutes. And then speaking about my dog was severely sick a week later, and I got an email that night basically threatening to, I didn't take the email seriously, threatening to send someone around to attend to my sick dog, so it was someone who knew or had done something, and it speaks frightening. There's been the cars outside the office were being under surveillance for some reason. I actually sent my son back to Australia last week because it was just getting too hot here, and now I've just got my 2 kids now.
And I do understand that for the sake of your family, you are restructuring the direction that reverse speech is going to go a little bit. In other words, you are in effect reacting to some degree to these threats.
Yeah, I am a little bit. I don't know. My immediate reaction is to back right off on some of my controversial topics, but I'm going to be playing TWA 800 reversal tonight. I want to back down on some of the more controversial stuff, but even though that's what I want to do, I'm still led to doing them. So it's hard to tell.
All right, let us give the audience a good example. I was on a talk show in Philadelphia the other day,
right?
And the famous Neil Armstrong statement as he first stepped on the moon was part of the opening sequence of the very popular morning show in Philadelphia on WPHT, our affiliate there. And it was really funny, David. He played that as part of sort of the opening of the show. And when we got into the interview, one of the first things I said is, hey, have your engineer go play that backwards and recover what he gets, play it backwards at a regular speed, and in the next break, come back and play it on the air. And they did, and the engineer's mind was completely blown. I just happened to remember the Neil Armstrong statement as one of the more impressive things I've heard on reverse speech. And it set off the whole interview. I mean, there was no denying it. So let us begin by introducing the audience to that now very famous Neil Armstrong statement, if you can do it, when he landed on the moon, what it is in forward and then reverse.
Okay, all right, we've got it queued up now, and here's Neil Armstrong's very famous first words that we all know very, very well. One small step for man, we've all heard that time and time again, but I wonder how many people have heard it in reverse. And I suggest that over the next few years, what it says backwards will become just as famous as what it says forward. We'll run it in reverse at two different speeds for the new listeners, and literally backwards is saying man will spacewalk. Man will spacewalk. And that's straight backwards. We'll just play that twice. Actually, we don't need to play it 3 times.
That's really correct. That is so clear, Dan, that you need not play it at the third slower speed. As a matter of fact, as the audience will know, as you get used to listening to reverse speech, you will hear it more clearly and more easily as time goes on. You've got to kind of calibrate your ears to it. I did that as a dispatcher, 911 dispatcher, and you now have to do it to participate in this program. At regular speed, play it in reverse, if you would, one more time.
Okay, here we go.
And man will spacewalk. There you go.
And one of them on that forward and immediately reverse. You ready forward? Backwards. Phrases like this, as clear as that, are occurring constantly throughout speech, once every 10 or 15 seconds. It's a revolutionary discovery that I believe in time will change the entire course of civilization.
Anybody can do this with a computer. Anybody can do this with a recorder that can be played backwards. It's no special trick. You have been not nominated for, but I know there has been a letter sent requesting a nomination for a Nobel Prize for your work. Your work is now recognized, I believe, by an official government agency, correct?
Yeah, it's been recognized by the United States Department of Labor. It has its own occupational code, both in the analytical side of it as well as the therapeutic side of it. The therapeutic implications of this are really quite profound. My training schools and it's also been licensed and approved by the state of California. We do classes in this. My next class starts the last weekend in January. We're making some pretty good progress. My recommendation to the Nobel Committee has since been backed up by another letter as well. So it's just a matter of time, I think, before we really have no choice but to admit that there is something.
All right. Well, you are certainly deserving of it, and I hope it happens. David, you have proven to me beyond any shadow of a doubt that speech in reverse actually begins before forward speech begins. In other words, when you were somewhat younger and your children were a lot younger, you would compulsively follow them around with a tape recorder and a microphone in their face, and you would record infant goo-goo sounds.
Right.
Which, when reversed, are not so much goo-goo. Would you give us a couple quick examples of that?
Yeah, well, here's the classic one that is your favorite example, and it's literally me shoving the tape player in my daughter's face.
How old was she?
At this time, she was 7 months of age.
All right.
And she sees the tape player and she reaches out for it with interest. Backwards, she said, what's that? Again. Let's run it forwards and backwards. When I run this forwards and backwards, I want you to listen very carefully. The G sound forward. So when you run it in reverse, the G disappears.
It is obviously what a child would do if you put something in front of them. If they could speak, they would say, "What's that?" And if the audience would listen very carefully, there is, we talked about this many times, an ethereal sort of something to stand your hair on end to kind of sound the words of your reverse. Something about hovering before they can speak forward. Go ahead and do it again.
And you want to hear the one I'm going to play off?
No.
Backwards. Just a classic example of reverse speech. And they are speaking in reverse from as early as 4 months of age, and they're uttering simple single words backwards, which gradually increase in complexity as they get older. And the next one I'm about to play you was recorded at approximately 11 months of age. My daughter's in a bathtub, so she's trying to pick up a cup. She can't pick up the cup, and she reaches out to me for help.
Gibberish.
A very typical baby sound, and then reverse, she says, "David, help me."
I am, of course, always convinced she is saying, "David, help me, David."
Right, there is a very faint sound at the end, sure.
Listen very carefully and go ahead and do it in reverse one more time at regular speed, please.
Yeah, I can hear that right at the end, yeah.
Yep. It's there.
And here's that just a very classic. You'll of course hear the very definite ethereal sound there, which is a very typical of reverse speech. It's one of the reasons I think too why it hasn't been discovered before, because it's got this very unique sing-song, echoey type tone to it, and unless you know what you're listening for, it's very easy to miss.
David, it's almost like something coming from beyond the grave.
Right, and I think that's why it got the satanic label many years ago. I mean, this first came to the forefront back to, well, actually, really right back in the late 60s with the Beatles, and the fundamentalists picked up the bandwagon in the mid-70s and early 80s. And
yeah, but everybody out there needs to understand that was backwards masking. It was done intentionally and has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, reverse speech.
Right, exactly correct. Yeah. There is two totally separate and distinct phenomena here. A lot of bands will, as a marketing gimmick, will superimpose tracks backwards on their records, and this is totally different. This is a natural mental function, language, two modes of language, forwards as well as read.
All right, if you've got another child one, and in fact, even if you have a few more of those, I'd love to hear them.
Oh, sure, I love the kids one. Here's the kid with a dirty diaper. Yeah, and where he says a diaper, that was he says, "Help me out." I love that one.
Oh, as clear as can be, help me out.
Yeah.
And again, that ethereal sound. All right, David, hang tight. We've got plenty of time to explore all of this. I'd like to get a couple more of the kids with an open mind and listen. Here once again is David John Holtz. David, let's hit him with a few more kids here because I love them.
Okay, well, here we have another classic children's reversal. I was over a friend's house, and we moved my daughter from one room to another. We just set up the microphone in the room.
And again, David, how old was she?
This one was about 18 months, I believe.
At about 18 months. So you were moving her from one room to the other. Okay.
Correct. So here we have it forward. You can hear me moving the microphone around. We're just setting up. Very typical baby sound. And in a verse, she says, "I now come here."
So that is so clear. I've now come here.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
That's quite right. Go ahead.
Okay, and here we go again.
I've now come here, from utter gibberish to I've now come here.
Yep, and here, let me just run that forward again so people can see it's just typical baby sound forward. And that's down there, I now come here. And once this technology is accepted, it is going to revolutionize the field of child psychology and the language development. I mean, it just raises so many questions. I mean, when does the child's mind begin to think and process?
Well, I think anybody, David, would agree that a child, prior to actually saying mama, dada, whatever the first words are, begins to process in their brain what language is. I mean, that's just, it does not take a rocket scientist to imagine that. You start processing and assimilating information in your brain, and then finally that results in forward speech. But if anything validates reverse speech, this does. If you have any more kids, do them now.
Okay, here we go. A little girl playing with her mother. That's what she says, our mummy's sweet. Oh. See that one all right?
Very clearly, Mommy was extremely clear.
I don't even think I've played this one on your program.
I don't think you have. I've never heard you do it one more time.
So let's just run that forward again so you can hear the forward. And backwards.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just such a gorgeous reversal, and I just love the kids' stuff. It's probably my favorite topic.
Mine too.
Yeah, let's see what else I've got on kids. I mean, I'm just trying to pick up one off the top of my head. Gee, but the one I was looking for, I can't see it right now. Here we go. This is a really neat one. This is from Australia, two Australian kids chatting away about a inoculation mark. You'll notice right at the very end, one of the children says, "Do you have an injection?" You just notice an inoculation mark on the other kid's arm. When she says to make it bad, reverse the two, I hated them. There we go. Oh, yeah, exactly what you would expect a young kid to say.
As a matter of fact, I recall thinking that myself. An inoculation.
You tell me who just made them,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, is that it? Do we leave children now?
Oh, yeah, why don't we leave children? Why don't we, I want to get on the TW800 reversals, which we'll do after the top of the hour.
Oh, that's so serious. Listen, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Go find the political stuff, the very clear political stuff for me. My favorite is the nomination speech for President Clinton.
Right.
Do you happen to have that in? Because if you'll move us into the adult realm, and we'll do it with politics here.
Okay, this is a classic one. This is a Bill Clinton inauguration that his first term. It's not Bill Clinton talking, but it's it's someone. It's just the announcer. The particular thing is notice carefully what he said about the outgoing Bush administration. Today, we elected the outgoing administration. And warmly welcome you all as William Jefferson Clinton, taking office as the 22nd president of the United States. We count our language touch 9 to 10.
No, we have gracious goodbye.
Let me just run the key section again. Gracious goodbye to the outgoing administration. And of course, we all know what really happened to George Bush. He was fired. Reversal says you're fired. Classic reversal.
Here. Let me just all right. What David's doing is he's reversing these at 3 speeds. The first speed you're hearing is the regular speed, the same speed it was spoken forward, and he's only reversing this so those of you hearing it for the first time can kind of calibrate your ear.
Right, and I've just got a little music thing at the end. I've got some echo on the You're Fired just for a sec, so let's just run this. Today, our nation is a gracious goodbye to the outgoing administration. I just think that's terribly amusing, you know. And here we have, whatever you want to look at.
You got to give me the kiss, David.
Yeah, the kiss. Okay, we'll do that and do a couple other naughty ones on Bill Clinton. All right. Here's Bill Clinton. He talked about how he avoids being unduly influenced.
Trial lawyers and campaign financing. How do you personally avoid being unduly influenced by people who give you money or give you services in your campaigns? Well, I try to articulate my positions as clearly as possible. Tell people what I stand for and let them decide whether they're going to support me or not. I like to listen to the side forward dialogue again with the verse of the code. Well, I try to articulate my positions as clearly as possible.
And what position is he talking about? In the verse he says, she's a fun girl to kiss.
She's a fun girl to kiss. She's a fun girl to kiss.
Now once more.
She's a fun girl to kiss.
It makes you wonder how he does it, boys.
And what positions he's articulating.
And on the same token, here's the one. I don't even think I've played this on your program either. This is actually a classic video clip. Bill Clinton giving a speech, and just momentarily his eyes glance down to this very attractive woman in the front row.
Battling discrimination against mental illness. Care for children of veterans who suffer from a terrible disease.
And backwards he says, these little breasts.
These little breasts.
I don't think I've played that one on your
I don't think you have either. These little breasts.
I mean, you know, if you did tell me a red-blooded male who probably would say something like that.
I was about to say that. I don't hold it against him. I mean, it's got to be boring sitting up there doing a speech, and behind them, Mr. Clinton loves his women.
Right.
And so, you know.
Here it is again.
These little breasts.
Okay, now let's get a little bit more complicated now. Still on the same theme. Here's Clinton talking about charges of moral dishonesty. This is probably one of my favorite reversals of all time on this one. Just a classic reversal. Here we go.
There still has not been a single solitary shred of it, or anything that's dishonest that I have not been on a public by. Not only his government, not his governor and his president.
And backwards, you can hear his southern accent. He says, denied the habits, and I said, dang you. And he said, look, I've already addressed it. Just leave me alone. Denied the habits, and I said, dang you.
Denied the habits, and I said, dang you.
Yep. And again,
And what I denied the habits. Very interesting.
Yeah, and let me just run this. Look, what I want to do this one, I want to run the whole track backwards, and you'll actually hear the gibberish first, and then this very distinct tonal shift as reversal occurs, and then back to gibberish again. This is literally how reverse speech works. You get this monotone gibberish, and then this exceptionally clear phrase, and then the middle of the gibberish, and then back again.
Very, very clearly in the center of gibberish, there it was.
Yep. And literally, this is how it occurs. And I constantly say on the programs I do, I'm just amazed that no one's discovered this before. It's so blatant and so obvious. All one has to do is to run a tape backwards with an open mind and open your ears, and they're quite clear.
Now, well, you remember the Area 51 caller?
Oh, yes. I cannot play you that one. My jazz drive crashed tonight. And
I see. All right.
I didn't have a backup on that. I'm sorry. I actually tried to find that before I went to the air. So,
okay. Oh, well.
We can't do that one. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Where would you like to go from here?
Why don't we look at the Ramsey? That's a current topical case. It gives you some implications of how to use getting down some more serious aspects of this.
The Ramsey case, of course, is entering a very serious phase right now.
Yes, it certainly is. And actually, I was I did a taping with her rather Rivera show on the Wednesday of this week, and that will actually be airing on December the 26th.
So you're also the day after Christmas, you're going to be on the radio. Correct. All right.
And playing these rehearsals that you're just about to hear.
Okay.
Now we get down to the nitty-gritty of reverse speech. What enters exactly correct. And here we have Nancy Ramsey. She's being interviewed on the TV, and she's saying forward. She feels there's at least 2 people out there who know who did this crime.
We feel like there are at least 2 people on the face of this earth that we know who did this. And that is the killer and someone that person may have confided in.
And in reverse, she tells us who the person is. Reverse will simply say, I'm that person.
I'm this person.
Oh, God.
I'm this person. And once more. I'm this person. I mean, it pretty well speaks for itself.
Just one more time at regular speed, please. I know I'm always causing you to
and that's
leave
part
this a
of
little
the
bit.
conference until the next follow.
I know.
Here we go.
I'm this person.
Okay, and once more. Who's the person who knows?
I'm this person.
Speaks for itself.
Okay.
And here we have John Ramsey committing his life to finding the killer of his daughter. And we're just loading this one up right now, and I'll play another one on John after this that will really chill you to the bone.
Mr. Ramsey, so what do you want to say to the killer of your daughter?
We'll find you. We will find you. I have that as a sole mission for the rest of my life.
Sounds like something that O.J. Simpson said. And backwards, we now fool you.
We now fool you. We now fool you.
And once more.
We now fool you.
I mean, this is a revolutionary dynamite technology, and it literally will shake the foundation stones of civilization as it gets out more and more.
And for anybody sitting out there saying, what a bunch of baloney, be my record any of this, play it back, and prove it to yourself.
Oh, sure. All I'm doing is just running the tape straight backwards. There's no manipulation of soundtrack. There's no nothing. You can validate this very easily. If anyone wants to go to my website, I've got a whole site up, which, by the way, we have a new site that's coming online tonight.
I think it may be online already. I'm not sure. People will go up to www.artbell.com and scroll right down to David John Oates' name and click on it. If that new site is up, you will immediately be taken there by electronic wizardry at the speed of light.
That link will take you to the brand new site, which Keith Rowland has spent many hours of working on this. We're right down to the wire. On the old site, still up at reversespeech.com. We couldn't get it changed over, but you can get to the new site and a link to it for your page.
All right, there you are.
There's hundreds of reversals on that. Let's look at just one more on John Ramsey. This is really a very chilling reversal. He's talking about the outgoing of support that he's received, and prior to this, which I don't have in this clip, but he talks about the letter that he received from a little girl. He's been corresponding with the little girl, and then he continues on.
It's just wonderful. So we've come out of this perhaps differently than you would expect in believing that there really is a lot of good and that's been an outcome that I think we certainly wouldn't have anticipated with this kind of interaction.
Now, you tell me how the reversal I'm about to play can occur by pure coincidence. This is a very long, articulated sentence, and it's actually accessing right down into his unconscious mind, and particularly his unconscious attitude towards little girls. The reversal simply says, nice little girl, and there's a little bit of gibberish followed by, let me look. Let me nurse you. You get down on my fire. A nice little girl, gibberish, let me look. Let me nurse you. You get down on my fire.
I should have felt sister never knew. The mercy, you get down on my fire.
Yeah, I heard it.
Straight back with here again.
Sister never knew. The mercy, get down on my fire.
You see, this is where reverse speech gets really dangerous, because it's not just accessing our conscious conscious thoughts, what we're thinking and feeling at the time of speaking, but it's also accessing unconscious attitudes and behavior and motives and agenda, literally on the deeper levels, which won't get into tonight, but it actually accesses the core structures of consciousness. Why we are the people that we are and how our personality behavior is literally formed at the very base level.
Okay, we have a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, and you are welcome to run in that couple of minutes at any you want.
Okay. Well, this is a reversal on me, which was recorded back in 1988, right when I began my public career with reverse speech. I began researching for in 1983, but in 87, 88, I published my first book. I did more lectures, and here is me after one of my lectures, and I'm literally saying to someone, I've suddenly been thrust into this role where I had people coming to me and saying, David, I want to know what's going on inside my head. I've been suddenly thrust into this role where I have people coming to me and saying, David, I want to know what's going on inside my head. So this is actually a very good example to illustrate the principle of what I call speech complementarity, where the forward and the reverse relate to each other. It's actually one of the things that convinced me back in the early stages was this direct contextual relationship.
Sure.
And when I say all I do is play taste backwards, we actually hear a reversal that says what happens when we play taste backwards, and the reversal says look at that, and there's a little bit of gibberish followed by all I am inside, which is what reverse speech accesses all that we are inside. And
I heard all I am inside.
Correct. That's exactly what it says. Let's do it.
All I am inside. All right, David, a question for you. In the world of reverse speech, as you fairly pull each reversal from any forward spoken words, what percentage of the time is the reversal congruent with, in other words, contextually congruent with what is being said forward? What percentage of the time?
It's at least 70%, and in actual fact higher than that, to 70 to 80%. In the cases where it's not congruent, you will normally find that topic being discussed a few minutes later or a few minutes prior. So if it's not contextual right at those precise words, it's generally contextual throughout the whole conversation. Although there are occasions where they just come out of left field and totally throw me for a loop. I have no idea what they're talking about, but at least 70 to 80% of the time.
All right, so 70 to 80% of the time, it is congruent, consistent with what's being said forward.
Yeah.
And that's impossible unless reverse speech is absolutely real.
Oh, the mathematical odds of this occurring by pure coincidence, literally uncountable. They're occurring every 10 seconds. The mathematical experiments from textual relations.
All right, hang out, David. It is, we're headed toward the top of the hour. So with Bill Donaldson, an aviation expert, and two witnesses who claim to have seen, one of them in a Black Hawk helicopter, a missile rise, turn, and explode adjacent to Flight 800 as the investigation now continues. Coincident to that broadcast, there were several statements made the next day following my broadcast about the center fuel tank and modifications to the center fuel tank. And as you are well aware, there are ongoing investigations. I want to read you a letter I just received from Tom Higgins. Art, at 62 years of age, I'm retired electrical engineer from 9X and also a business owner and live with my wife Edna in Greenport, New York. I'm also a licensed pilot and former owner of my own aircraft. We live about 25 miles east-northeast of West Hampton Airport, the base of the Air National Guard, and upon whose runway the helicopter was landing when the pilot saw the initial flash and explosion. He was a recent guest on your show. The crash site is not more than a few miles southwest of that. Had it not been for trees in the neighbor's yard, I could have seen the explosion. On that evening, at approximately 8:50 p.m., while in my backyard, I heard a low-flying plane approaching from the direction of West Hampton Airport. As a pilot, and with undying interest in aircraft, I watched and waited to see it as I normally do. This plane immediately aroused my interest to the point where I went directly into the house and told my wife about what I saw. Note, we did not become aware of the TWA crash until we turned on the TV at about 11:30 p.m. that evening, and did not know about it at the time that I saw the plane, although I knew that what I saw was significant. What I saw was a twin-engine Piper PA, that's Pacific Alpha 23 Apache aircraft, with what appeared to be modified wingtips, squared off instead of rounded, as I remembered from seeing such planes years ago. As an avid fan of older aircraft, I recognized it immediately. They only built 300 of them in the early 60s. What struck me as so unusual was the fact that he was flying at full throttle at about 600 feet AGL, which is virtually sea level here. He was headed northeast, and because he was so low and pushing it so hard, I immediately thought that perhaps he was a drug runner. Believe me, I study every plane that passes over and always have. I've never seen one of those around here before or since. His direction of travel must have brought him very close to the crash site. If he had departed West Hampton, he must have seen the explosion. Was he flying so unusually low to avoid radar, or reporting in to the area? 1 minute after passing overhead, he would have been over the ocean headed toward Boston, which is definitely not a good idea at 600 feet. Its paint job was rather dull and faded and looked as if it had been stored for years and not the object of a classic airplane owner's love. I reported all this to the FBI hotline several days later, but they never contacted me. A similar strange incident occurred the evening before, just before dark. Again, over my backyard, I was astonished to see either a Learjet or a Citation jet or similar jet doing lazy eights at about 1,000 feet between Greenport and Shoulder Island, a few miles south of here. Low and slow in one of those is again very dangerous. I have never seen that again, nor since. He was not configured for a landing, and the nearest airport would have been West Hampton or East Hampton, where he could land many miles away. I have very strong powers of observation and usually notice things other people do not. All of my instincts tell me that twin-engine Piper Apache was running scared or trying to stay out of sight. But why? And why only 10 or 15 minutes after the crash of Flight 800, signed Tom Higgins? We will in the future interview Tom Higgins. It is but one more interesting piece of the puzzle that is was TWA Flight 800. Once again, David Oates. David?
Okay, well, we're going to add even further mystery and intrigue to the Flight 800 scenario. I've got 30 universals to play here. All right. I want to get through them in order. This was from a press conference conducted by Jim Halstrom of the FBI approximately 3 weeks ago. There's another speaker here as well. Audio is just a touch distorted on this. It was recorded by someone else who had the levels a bit. It doesn't change the message on this ad at all. I'm just explaining if you hear a little bit of distortion, all right, what it is. All right. Okay, so here we go. The law enforcement disengagement at this time from the TWA investigation
is based solely on the overwhelming absence of evidence indicating a crime.
Okay, that's the official statement. We have a very significant reversal. He says, nervous, they're spying in my war.
Nervous and spying in my war. Nervous and spying in my war.
You hear that one okay?
Yes, I did, yes.
And what for?
Nervous and spying in my war.
So he's obviously nervous. The word spying is very significant. What it means by in my war, I really don't know. I believe that some future broadcast with Richard Hogle, he's going to be talking about a secret war that he believes is transpiring. All right, well, that's just leaving it for future reference. And now we have the next one coming up. Now I just got a slight delay on my computer bringing this up just a touch here.
All right, while you're doing that, one quick question, so that my fax machine does not burn up. Everybody always asks, does reverse speech work in other languages besides English?
Yes, we've documented in 3 other languages so far: French, German, and Spanish. I have a fascinating story to tell about the reverse speech in German. I had a student come over from Germany to train with me for a period of 2 years. When she first came, she spoke very poor English, and most of her reversals were in German for the first few months.
But it was her poor English translated to reversals in German. Well, that's remarkable. All right, are you queued up?
Yes, I am. And here we have the second TWA reversal.
The investigation I've just described was done primarily by the men and women, the terrorist task force here in New York, augmented by many FBI agents from around the country and many others from this office.
Okay, talk about the investigative team investigating, and reversal says, remember, they'll be lame.
Remember, they'll be lame. Remember, they'll be lame.
In other words, ineffective.
Remember,
You hear that one okay?
No, I don't hear that one clearly. Say it at regular speed, and what is it saying, please?
Remember, they'll be lame.
Remember, they'll be lame. All right.
remember, they'll be lame.
Yep.
Remember, they'll be lame.
All right, I hear it.
Okay, all right. And the next one is just as significant, and we're pulling this one up now. And this is still the spokesman speaking, and here we go with it forward.
I don't say this lightly. I like to thank the media. The media is the way that we put this story out. It allowed us to stand up day in and day out.
And very significant reversal to what's coming up. He simply says, we have the killer.
Yes, it's killer. Yes, it's killer. Yes, it's killer.
We have the killer.
We have the killer. Who is the killer? That's a very interesting question.
Yes, it's killer.
Okay, and we'll move on to the next one now. Still, this is all in order in which they occurred. And here it is. And he's talking about the recovery of the terror from the ocean floor.
SAC Joe Canamessa, who so expertly ran and coordinated all the activities on the ocean, the dive, recovery of all the material.
And when he talks about the recovery of all the material, he says, I erased them.
I erased them.
Oh,
I erased them.
I erased them.
I erased them. A very significant reversal. I would like to know exactly what was erased.
So would I.
And I'm sure many other people would like to know the answer to that question too. And here we have with the next one coming up, and this is a different speaker now, and we're running this forwards right now.
Operational or procedural questions inevitably arise, but due in no small measure to the leadership of Director Free, Jim Kowski.
And we're talking about Director Free, Jim Kowski. He says they sure deal with it.
They sure deal with it. They sure deal with it.
Well, that would be congruent then.
Right, that is correct. Yeah, there's nothing sort of really sinister in that.
Right.
And we're going to move on to the next one now, which this next one put chills down my spine. my first death threat about 3 or 4 days after I first played the TWA reversals on the radio.
Right. It will demonstrate the extraordinary effort being made to conduct an objective and far-reaching examination.
And what would stop them from doing an objective far-reaching examination? Reversal says we're scared of the oaths.
We're scared of the oaths. We're scared of the oaths. We're scared of the oaths.
I don't know what to tell you about that one. It just sent chills down my spine when I heard it. And I've been fairly public now for 18 months and made quite an impact.
Oh, yes.
It makes me wonder whether there is indeed any connection between that reversal and some of the things that have happened to me recently. And this next reversal is just as telling. And we have 2 or 3 more very serious ones coming up after this one.
All right.
And here we go.
All of us want to be here today to thank the men and women of the FBI.
And backwards, we don't serve the law.
No, so long.
Oh, my.
No, so long. No, so long.
And I mean, there's a real trend building here.
We don't serve the law. Oh, my.
It's the trend that's building in this whole TWA reversals really quite worrying me. Talk about spying, the agents being lame. We have the killer record being race. We don't serve the law. Now we're coming on to this one.
Men and women of the various organizations here in New York that have worked so hard on this investigation. And again, to assure the American people that our investigation continues.
And backwards, we'll beat the crime.
Or
or crime. And beating what? And then next, we've got 2 more reversals to play here. The one I'm about to play you now, I've actually got a fascinating story to tell you about this one. Some information I found on a radio interview I did recently when I played this reversal. And we're just queuing up now. Here's the thoughts.
But if it does, we'll jump in there with both feet as quickly as possible.
Yes, flog the wind. And the reversal says we flogged the wind.
Yes, flog the wind. Yes, flog the wind. Yes, flog the wind.
We flogged the wind. Now, what would that be?
Okay, well, I wasn't too sure about that myself. And as you know, I've played some reversals on your program in the past, but I haven't known what they've meant. And we've had people who have faxed in or emailed in with the answers. But this one I played on the program last week, and the announcer on the program, as soon as he heard that reversal, took quite a huge gasp because he claimed he told me he attended a lecture the night before by some top general, and of course I don't have the name of that chap, but who had analysed the crash wreckage, and he claimed that a missile impact had hit at the base of the wing, and so we flogged the wing to punish, or flogged to harm, to beat.
I see.
And one more reversal coming up on the TWA 800, and I want you to listen very carefully as to what he's saying. Forward, he said, we felt the necessity to stand up and talk about what we did.
We felt the necessity to stand up here and talk about what we did.
And reversal simply says, we assassined it.
We assassinated it. You assassinated it. You assassinated it.
And that's it.
See, I must tell you, I believe my ears, David, but I do not believe that we shot down. In other words, that statement, my God almighty, that statement is suggesting, obviously, that we shot down, we murdered our own people, shot down our own plane. And I must tell you, David, I don't believe that.
I have exactly the same struggle with that question as well. And, I've had long talks with Richard Hoagland and other people about this, and I'm saying the same thing. Look, I'm hearing these reversals. They're as plain as day, as far as I can tell. They're using the words we constantly. We don't serve the law. We'll beat the crime. We float the wing. We assassinate. And I'm going, what on earth? I mean, why?
I'm absolutely willing to believe that a terrorist may have brought down this airplane with a missile. I'm willing to believe variations of that. I'm not willing to believe we killed that plane ourselves and those people. I just, so maybe your reversals would indicate some compliance with the cover-up with regard to knowledge of who did do it. I can only hope.
That is a way you can interpret that, but we assassinated that may refer to the investigation, for example.
Perhaps so.
We'll beat the crime. We don't serve the law. I erase them. If it was shot down and there was a cover-up, then there's obviously a conspiracy to cover it up, and why that is so, I don't have the answers to that. I have got the tapes of the whole week hearing on TWA about that happened last week. I haven't even begun to look at those tapes yet, but I intend to look at them and try to get an answer to this mystery, because I know reverse speech very well. I've worked with this stuff for 14 years, and it has always validated itself in my work, in my therapeutic practice, and the cases I've done with the police. And so now I've got this tremendous mystery on my hands.
How many times, David, have you consulted with the police on a case quietly? I assume they don't do it very publicly.
No, I've done it twice in Australia and 3 times here in the States. So it hasn't been a many times on that level. In Australia, the 2 cases I worked on, in one case, reversals revealed the locations of the murder weapons, and the police found exactly where that was. In another case, it was in the state of Queensland. The police commissioner was suspected of drug running, and reversals revealed the name of a bank and branch in which he had funds. There was a case in Dallas where
that then led the police to that bank and the finding of those funds?
That is, along with other corroborating evidence, yes. And in point of fact, that case actually caused the whole state of Queensland government to collapse. There was actually a royal commission into the whole thing, and that one piece of evidence caused the ring of corruption throughout Queensland to...
All right, David, do you ever get reversals from songs? And I don't mean backmasking, but reversals from somebody who would sing a song.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure. Well, then this would sure be one to go to work on. If you get a chance, I would appreciate it. This is my wife's favorite hunk of music. We'll go for it to the bottom of the hour. I'm Art Bell. And there are a few guests that I have. I have a lot of scary guests, I do. But very few of them scare the hell out of me. Harlot did. So, David, what have we got on Harlot?
Well, Harlot scared the hell out of me too hard. As you know, I've been flip-flopping on this one for a couple of weeks. I just really haven't known what to make out of it. And this afternoon, when I prepared my final transcripts for the air tonight, it finally sunk home. And I got about 30 reversals to play on her, so I'd really like to play all of them. It communicates the whole point. Harlot is basically what she presents herself as being, quite frankly. These reversals will literally chill you to your bones.
Fire away.
They certainly have me. Okay, here we go.
But what we do practice the art of witchcraft. Radiamon is a satanic third or fourth generation Earth witch.
And reversal on this one is Darling. This is Nightmare.
Darling, this is Nightmare. Darling, this is Nightmare.
Get that one okay?
Darling, this is
Nightmare.
Yep. A very nice congruent statement to begin. She certainly appears to me what she's saying.
Everybody's got to bear in mind the congruency. In other words, these in reverse talk about the same sort of things that are being set forward. It may contradict or it may confirm, but it is congruent. It's undeniable. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, correct. Okay, now she's talking about she wants an opportunity to meet, I think, some Wiccans who were in her town.
Oh, yes.
They know who it is now, and they have an opportunity, and I welcome the opportunity. I am not going to answer. I will not get into a rambling discussion about irrelevant things.
No, she won't get into a rambling discussion. Reversal says, "Where's your gun? Why are you finished?"
Where's your gun? Where are you finished?
And again,
Where's your gun? Where are you finished?
she's looking for a fight, you know.
Where's your gun? Where are you finished?
I sense that the whole time I talked to her, an undertone of real serious anger.
Oh yeah, very, very angry woman, and the next reversal just really goes to illustrate this. As you talk about the scriptures and add to Eve, she gets into some fairly deep theology throughout the whole interview.
If you go through your scriptures and you find out in the beginning Adam and Eve and so forth and so on, their eyes were pretty much closed, only opened to see at that point.
And the reversal is thou forth the venom.
Thou forth the venom. Thou forth the venom. Thou forth the venom.
Unusual pronunciation on venom. I almost didn't play it, but in the long run, obviously I decided to. Let's just run that just again once.
Thou forth the venom.
Okay?
Close, not sure.
Right, like I said, a little bit unusual, but I thought it was significant enough to play. But this next one is fascinating. She was talking about a birthmark that she had on an intimate part of her, and this is quite a stunning reversal, and we'll run it forward right now.
And it bothered quite a few people. That mark begins to slowly disappear as I grow older. I still have it, not in the format that it was at birth.
And bear in mind, this was a birthmark, and she says in reverse, "How terrible! I'll get that rapist."
How terrible! I'll get that rapist.
God, that was
How terrible! I'll get that rapist.
very clear, David.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's do it one more time.
How terrible! I'll get that rapist.
And then she says, "Serve my soul."
No, that's no. No, that's no. No, that's no.
It would appear it really makes you wonder about the state of her soul.
Yes, it does.
And the mark of the rapist, who was the rapist? If the mark was on her body.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah. This next one is interesting. Talk about the quickening, and this will quite a fascinating reversal. This one, this one could bring many discussions. Let's run it forward first.
You, sir, I mean, when I first tuned into your show, and I remember well when you began talking and talking about things that you call the quickening. Mm-hmm. Oh, how right you are.
Okay, I'm going to play, there's two reversals here. I'm going to play the first, and then I want to talk briefly about what I think they mean. A little bit unusual. The first one says, the mirror sweet. Mercy. 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 Do you hear that one okay?
Yes, but I don't know what it means.
We'll play the next one, and then I'll discuss it. The next one says, bring the world a mirror.
Mirror. Mirror.
Bring the world a mirror. That one I heard.
Yeah. Now, reverse speech talks a lot about mirrors and reflections, and literally one of the deeper things of reverse speech is that the world in which we live is really a reflection of who we are. You know?
Yes.
And I've read your book, The Quickening, and you talk about the acceleration of the events where society is heading.
Of course.
And literally, that is a mirror for who we are as we are quickening and increasing.
Yes.
She says the mirror is sweet. She likes this. She likes this quickening that is occurring, and it's a glorification of it. Let me run it again. Mercy, mercy, and she wants it to continue bringing the world a mirror.
Mirror.
Okay.
Yep.
Does that make sense now with that explanation?
Sadly so, yes.
Yeah, and it's really a glorification of all of that. And this next reversal, I can only describe it as blasphemy in the ultimate sense. And I ran this one by you off the air this afternoon, if you remember. I rang you.
I did, and it's okay.
Okay, well, here we go. She's talking about the words of Christ.
Many shall come unto me in that day, saying, did I or did I not? Or did I do these things in thy name? Haven't I done all these great works in thy name? Haven't not I believed in you? And he shall say unto them, leave me, you worker of lawlessness.
And remember the reversal, I'll get that rapist. This one says, got under thy man having a screw.
Got under thy man having a screw. Got under thy man having a screw.
You hear that one okay?
Too clearly, yes.
Yeah, we'll do it once more.
Got under thy man having a screw.
And actually, because right at the very end, this is actually the words of Christ. I just want to run the end section again for you.
Believe in you. He shall say unto them, leave me, you worker of lawlessness.
So on the words of Christ, we have this, what I could only describe as the blasphemous
Got
statement.
under thy man having a screw.
Okay. Now, she's not all that, not her reversals are what I could call totally evil. There is a touch of kindness in her. This reversal really tugged at my heart, and I didn't really know exactly what it meant till we got to the end of the interview.
Well, I found myself 2 days later getting my bags packed and sent off to my grandmother's house.
And this was at what age? And she's talking about, being moved from her family's house. And reversal, actually, now this is one of the ones that doesn't totally relate to what she's saying forward. It says, be honest, want a son.
And honest son. And honest son.
Do you hear the emotion in that?
Yes, I do.
And it wasn't until the end of the interview that I discovered that she had a son who had died. And I think she's actually, this is her heartstring being tugged. I'm going to play it again.
And honest son.
And again.
And honest son.
She said her ex-husband murdered her son. She said that she ensured, it was the most chilling moment of the entire interview, right at the very end, where she said her son, I said, Harlot, you're going to hell and you're comfortable with that, but had you considered that your son will be going to heaven while you're going to hell? And she paused and said, no, I took before my son was killed to ensure he would be in hell with me.
And, I want to play a reversal on that very section. I'm going to jump to the end of the transcript, okay?
Okay.
My mind has gone to hell. Right?
How can you say that? What? Based on what?
Based on the simple fact that when he was born, I performed certain rituals.
And she's telling the honest truth back when she says, I'll bless him with Satan. Oh gosh.
I'll bless him with Satan?
That's what it says. That reverse sent chills down my spine.
Do that one again, please. And give me the whole forward thing. That one's bad.
I'm actually getting tears in my eyes playing this. I really get affected with reversals like I am.
And if that won't bring tears to your eyes, I interviewed Father Malachi Martin, and I brought this up to him, and I said, "Good Lord, Father, how would it be possible that any adult could take a child and be sure and ensure a child would go to hell?" And I expected him to say, well, of course, that could not be done. Instead, he said, "I'm sorry to tell you, Art, it could be done, has been done."
And, I've got some reversal to play on this that are even worse than this. It gets pretty rough towards the middle of the transcript. Let's run this whole forward again. My palms are breaking out in the sweat.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
As I'm doing this.
My mind has gone to hell.
Right? How can you say that? What? Based on what?
Based on the simple fact that when he was born, I performed certain rituals.
I want to make a statement here for the record. All I'm doing is analysing these reversals. In no way do I endorse or agree with or in any sense at all want to be associated with these.
I understand, of course.
I just really need to say that, okay? And here it is again. I'll bless him with Satan. And the listeners at home, you might want to go and sit down and get something to calm your nerves on that one.
Yeah.
We've got the worst ones coming up. But let's just play the other one earlier, the honest one son. Let me just play that once again, and just hear the emotions in this. So this woman is really deeply connected here. The honest one son, the one we played first.
And the honest son.
But why does he want a son?
Sure.
Okay, let's shake that one out. My sister will move on. This next one is one on you.
Oh, a reversal on me.
Yeah, you'll like this one. You were obviously at the beginning of the interview weren't totally sure how to take this woman.
That's right.
Very interesting. I have interviewed, if you've been a listener to the program, you know I've interviewed Malachi Martin, a Catholic priest. Advisor to popes way up in the Catholic Church. And the reversal is, see if you're faking. You're faking. You're faking. If you're faking, you're faking.
Yeah, that was it. You know what, David?
Yeah.
That's exactly what was on my mind at that point.
Welcome to the world of reverse speech, huh?
I swear to you folks, that is the exact truth. I was really treading through the waters carefully, and I wasn't sure whether I had the real thing on my hands or a fake. That's the truth.
Shall we just run that forward again and backward?
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I have interviewed, if you've been a listener to the program, you know I've interviewed Malachi Martin, a Catholic priest. Advisor to popes way up in the Catholic Church. And the verse will see if you're faking. You're faking. You're faking. And what you just said bears out over and over and over again. There's not a week that goes by in my session work with my clients. I use this in therapy, as you know, and there's not a week that goes by where I don't find reversals where people say, "Oh my gosh, it's exactly what's going on. That is what I was thinking at the time I was speaking."
Well, it's always hard to. It's impossible to say that for somebody else and to know what they were thinking. You can see the congruence and between the forward and the reversal. But in the case of my own speech, I can tell you, yes, definitely, without question, that is precisely what I was thinking at that moment.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. This is another chilling reversal.
All right.
We conspire, gain vengeance for our master being cast out of heaven.
A very bizarre twist on this. Satan, he will send love.
Right, we resign love. Right, we resign love.
The word Satan very quick.
Right, we resign love.
You know, okay?
Satan, he will send love?
Yeah. Quite strange, because forward she's talking about vengeance, unless she sees that the love that the love of Satan is indeed vengeance. Let's run it forward again.
We conspire, gain vengeance for our master being cast out of heaven.
Satan, he will send love.
We resign love. We resign love.
And once again, I really want to stress, in no way do I endorse this or approve of it. I'm just merely doing a reversal analysis.
Right. Well, it David, rest we're at the top of the hour. What it does, though, in a very chilling way, is once again point out that contextually, what you hear forward, in this case, I'm sorry to say, is and appears to be consistent again with what you hear in reverse. But Oates, and we are in the middle of reversals of Harlot, who I am convinced was a Satanist. David?
Yes, I'm convinced of that too. We've got about another 20 more to get through here, and then I've got some very important announcements to make after that. So let's just keep on going here, and then we'll talk about what's happening in the world of reverse speech.
All right.
All right, here we go. This is actually, I actually laughed at this one. She's talking about people who enter politics almost seem to have a Christian background.
A political person who is wanting to get up into the hierarchy of politics and government control, if you will, almost seems to have a heavy Christian background.
And she says, smiles, God mischief. In other words, the inference is they're using Christianity or the pretense of it to get to politics. She likes that.
Sure.
God mischief.
Well, God mischief. Well, God mischief.
Okay?
Well, God mischief.
Yes, very much okay. Very easy to hear.
Pretty clear. Now, the next two are out of character. It's almost like every now and then she slips into this other mode, and she's not totally, completely congruent with her position. There is a side of her, and you'll see with this and a couple of other reversals that is not a Satanist through and through, and there's two or three of these, but mostly, of course, they're on this Tannic type reversals. And I just want to point something out to you. You said something before the break about the congruent nature of reverse speech. I need to point out that in all the programs I've been on with you, never once have I played a reversal that has the word Satan in it. This is the very first time that has ever happened. And I want to say that to really stress the fact that this is not a reverse speech as such. It's not a satanic, occultic phenomenon. It is literally reading the mind or the unconscious of the person speaking. And this is the first woman who's the first person I've analysed who generally does profess to follow Satan. I think that's an important point to make. All right. Okay.
It's unjustified that as human beings we are unfairly punished at the hands of a creator who is not perfect.
And this reversal seems to be almost sympathetic towards God. It says, cry, you're made him exhausted.
You
hearing that one okay?
No. Do it again, please.
Okay, let's do it again. No?
I'm having a hard time with that one.
How interesting. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, well, there's normally one reversal each show I've done that you haven't been able to hear, so right. So we'll just move on to the next one, and you know, it's an interesting play, and on that point, yeah, I don't claim to be 100% correct with this. You know, I mean, it's an acquired skill that you learn as time goes on. I mean, I think my accuracy rate is fairly high.
So do I.
But, you know, I mean, anyone who claims they're 100% correct needs to go and have a serious self-examination. This is an interesting verse about Jesus himself.
Jesus said, every time I say that name, wow. He said, Father in heaven knoweth all.
And the reversal says, hell, and I was scared to meet him. There's no H on the him. I was scared to meet him.
Hell, and I was scared to meet him.
Oh, that's right.
Hell, and I was scared to meet him.
Very, very, very clear, yes.
Yeah, very significant reversal.
Hell, and I was scared to meet him.
So, you know, she's not as tough as she wants to pretend. There's a fear there. I mean, she talks about wanting to burn in hell and wanting to reject Christ and wanting the second death. This reversal has fear. It really does. Let's run that forwards again in reverse because it's so significant.
Jesus said, every time I say that name, wow. He said, Father in heaven knoweth all.
And hell, and I was scared to meet him.
Hell, and I was scared to meet him. Hell, and I was scared to meet him.
Okay, all right. Very clear. Now she's the next one. She talked about going to churches and sitting in the congregations, and we get back to the harlot who we have come to know on your program and some of her motives. That was, and here we go.
I have went to churches. I can tell this coast to coast. I have been to these churches. I have sat in their congregations. I have become active in their churches.
But reversal says that she was, before she's saying she was active in the churches, but backwards she says sped massacre.
Massacre.
So, you know, part of her motivation to massacre or destroy the Christian faith, I would imagine. This next one, just an incidental reversal. There's no real significance to it. It's just a reverse speech will often give extra information behind an act someone is performing or something they're talking about.
He's in the war room, what we call the black room right now.
The black room.
That's where we practice unholy arts.
Okay, that's where we practice unholy arts. Backwards, she says, we wore Saturn. I guess this is some ritual they're performing.
We wore Saturn.
Okay?
Strikingly clear.
Yeah.
We wore satin. No question about
That's
it.
when we're in their unholy room. Now, the next reversal is on you, and I think about this time you're really wondering how serious this woman is, and that's one of the reasons why you sent me this tape, and was really quite anxious to get the reversals on this.
That's right.
I just shivered. You have hitchhiked across the country, spreading evil in what form? And reversal is need oats. Need oats.
Actually, you know, again, David, you can believe that I was thinking of that almost all through the show.
Oh, really?
That this is a Class A candidate for reversal, you bet.
Yeah, well, there it is. It came out of your reversals. And, and on that point, I want you to note that the reversals I played on you totally connect with. You were aware of thinking and feeling that at the time.
Correct.
And that also applies to the reversals on the other people that we are playing. We are actually accessing their thought process. And it really is how reverse speech works. Quite an amazing technology, I'm sure you'll agree.
I do agree. Are we, how far through?
Well, we have a few more to go yet. Do you want me to just rush through or pick out the highlights?
I'll pick out the highlights of what you've got on Harlot.
Okay, all right. We'll skip some of these. The rest of them are on the website, and the Keith Rowlands have got the new site up. You still can't get it from my old address, reversespeech.com.
It's all right. I have already checked, David, and if people will go to my website right now, www.artbell.com, scroll down to the guest area and click on your name, they will be taken immediately to the new website. It's a beaut. Everything Keith Rowland does is a beaut.
It's just fantastic. I'm just so grateful to Keith, and the entire Harlot transcript is up there, plus TWA1, TWA800. There's some reversal there for the new British listeners. I've just debuted in England on the largest talk show in England, on talk radio. Has got just tremendous response. Been inundated with email, the station inundated with letters, and I know many of the British people are listening to your show tonight. Okay, here we have another soft side of Harlot.
That's not the grand scheme of things. God needs a person. God needs it, or he would have never existed to begin with.
The reversal says, mend little wee heart within.
And little wee heart within. And little wee heart within. And little wee heart within.
What does that mean, though?
Well, her little wee heart. See, this is the part of her that's scared of meeting Christ. Hell, when I was scared to meet him. Be honest, I want a son. And there's a small part of her deep down inside, the little wee heart, the real soft, genuine Harlot or Patsy, I would choose to call that part Patsy, that really does exist. And she wants that fixed. She wants that little wee heart inside of her mended. And that's exactly what it is. She's not evil through and through. Mind you, a large proportion of her is. But very interestingly, just as she says that reversal, that mend the little wee heart within, she actually lashes out again with a completely opposite statement just a few seconds later.
He was allowed to do that because even in God's makeup, or what he is, his existence and his essence, I find him to be more than just jealous now.
And then she says, say, eat hell again.
Say, eat hell again. Say, eat hell again.
You can hear the anger in that.
Yes, you certainly can.
Yeah. We'll just play a few, just about 3 or 4 more. I'm just running through, picking up some highlights, what I think are significant reversals.
Sure.
In this case, she talks about getting up in the front of a congregation and talking about God. And we're just bringing that file up now, and we have it, and here it is.
If I had to get in front of a congregation and preach about God, I would. If that meant, in the end of it all, upholding Satan in the end.
And reversal is name that trick.
Name that trick. Name that trick. Name that trick.
Wondering who else is performing that trick on our pulpits too. It makes you wonder, you know.
Yes.
She got very excited when a Wiccan ran in, and I got a couple of reversals on some of your callers. But here is when the Wiccan when the Wiccan called in, she said this forward. Well, I'm not talking about I'm a practicing Wiccan.
Oh, goodness, would you please come visit me? Can I give you my address? I would like to see you now.
And then she says, begin to serve my grief with defended warlock. Very long reversal.
Can you
hear that one okay?
Yes, clearly, warlock, yes.
Yeah, and this woman is looking for help. Mend my wee heart and a defended warlock. This is a reversal on the caller that really quite stunned me when I heard it. The Christians need to take great note of this whole program. I'm on the other side. I'm a believer in God. I only 100% pray Jesus' name. The way he says, I totally praise Jesus' name. Backwards, he says, that man is the beast. That man is the beast. That man is the beast.
That man is the beast was as clear as could be.
And this is what he says forward. Let me say the pause again. Only 100% praise Jesus' name. And, you know, I mean, I don't want to make a statement on this, but the reversal speaks for itself. You know, we need to examine our belief system very closely. That man is the beast. That man is the beast.
I don't even want to touch that one.
No, but I wasn't going to play it, but several people suggested I should, so I did. You know, and we're almost out here. I'm just picking up some. I'm just picking up a couple more of the highlights. She talked here about inflicting pain on her own body.
I love pain. I inflict pain on my own body. It motivates me well.
And reversal built me up. I speak for itself.
Built me up. Built me up. Built me up.
Okay, let's just look at two more reversals. Directly connected to the Christian church, I think. This one is, she's talking about the, no, this is actually another caller who called in. We will talk about the church as an entity. She doesn't agree with 90% of the churches.
In an entity, the church is a central location, is, how should I say this with tag? I don't agree with 90% of the so-called churches in the world today.
And reversal is Satan shackle.
The fearful.
I mean, and there's yeah, and there's an argument that can be made that that the church structure, well, you know, I don't want to get into that either.
It's so absolutely too congruent for my taste.
Yeah, you know, actually, I'm probably one part of me you don't know is I'm a prolific author. I've written probably at least 15 books in my lifetime, only two of which are published. I've written a series of science fiction novels, and there's one book I wrote about 5 years ago called Apostasy in Gold Pulpit that goes into the analysis of the church system, the church structure, and part of the conclusion I come up with is that it really is a Satan shackle because we've all been caught in this structure. So, and just one last reversal. This is a reversal on you, right at the end of the program as you signed off, and this is it for Howard.
I think that it did Christians a great service to hear this.
And reversal, it's a verse. In other words, it's a spiritual message.
It's a verse. It's a verse. It's a verse.
And there we go, my friend.
Well, that's enough for me.
It's enough for me too. This is of all the promptings you have given me to do reversals on, ranging from Nathu to Victor to, I mean, we've done a lot over the years. This was the toughest one I've had to do. I really had to force myself to go to the tape player to do it. As you know, you asked me a few weeks ago. It's taken a long time to get to it, because it's just been a tough one to do. See, when you do tapes, when you're actually doing the reversals, as much as you try to be objective and not get into it, unfortunately you really do. The reversals take on a life of their own sometimes. And I find myself deeply affected by some of these reversals. And,
how could you not be? All right, David. Hang tight. We're at the bottom of the hour. That, folks, was Harlan, and that was enough for me. How about you? We will take some calls, and we will get ready, because boy, have I got something for you. It occurred, actually, fortunately, I know exactly what occurred during the reversals of harvest. And just before the bottom of the hour, the weirdest thing that I've ever seen just happened. Get ready. you have access to the internet, let me tell the audience, we have on my website something called a webcam. I have 3 cameras in my studio. 1, 2, 3. And one takes a side shot, one takes a front shot, and one takes a shot from, not quite in reverse, but toward the back of the room, toward the front of the studio. Let's see, this shot that I'm talking about now would have been the side shot. It was taken at, according to this, 1:26 and 21 seconds. In other words, about 10 minutes ago. And, I have a monitor here, and we were getting these reversals on Harlot, and I happened to glance up at my own photograph of what it took. And I said, what in the hell is that? And I quickly reached over and froze the photograph and stopped the sequence. And I called Keith during the break here, Keith Rowland, my webmaster. And I said, Keith, would you do me a favor and take a look at that photograph? Now, I'm a smoker, all right? I smoke cigarettes, and I don't apologize for it. All the anti-smokers, you can go pound dirt. I smoke. That's the way it is. Maybe one day I'll quit, I don't know. But I was not smoking in this photograph. And there is... If you look at this photograph of me, around the whole top part of my head, there is something utterly indecipherable. Had I been smoking, you would have seen the trail of smoke obviously going up there. I've had Keith save this photograph. You go see what you think of it yourself. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I just barely caught it and froze it. Again, this photograph was taken by my webcam at 1:26 and 21 seconds, 12/19/97, because we've got the date stamp and the time stamp at the bottom. You go take a look at that yourself. Go to my website right now. And David Oates, if you happen to be out there and you can get on the web, do it now. Go to www.artbell.com. And I think what's happening is right now we're really loading up on the server. Take a look at that photo. If you don't get it now, I'm going to leave that there tonight. I'm not going to turn the live cam back on right now. I'm going to leave that up. So go take a look at that photograph. It was just taken, and it is. Get up there and take a look. On the left-hand side, you'll see Studio Cam. Just click on it, and you'll see that photograph. I hope, if we haven't created too much congestion on the net, it's freaky, really freaky. Absolutely Fresh Flowers is here's an.
Yeah, but looking at that photo, that's pretty creepy. And I got to tell you, I've had the last 4 weeks of my life has been absolutely bizarre. And I don't know whether that's connected with doing the reversal on this tape or not, but I've had the tension and the chaos for no reason, just spring up out of nowhere. Strange odors in my house. It's been very bizarre. I'm very glad to be done with this Harlot tape.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, look at the time. Look at the time of that. 1:26:21 Pacific time. And how would you account for that?
There is no way you can account for it that I can see. I've learned over the years to not underestimate. There is a whole other world out there that we have very little contact with. And some of the deeper levels of reverse speech get down and explain that.
Go back once more for me. There's one I want you to play. It is the most profound moment I thought of that whole show when she was talking about her baby who was dead, and that she had ensured he would go to hell.
Right. Yeah. I just went and grabbed the transcript to find the file.
And then we'll be done.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably the most significant reversal of all.
Significant part of the whole program, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Okay. So here that is.
My mind has gone to hell. Right?
How can you say that? Based on what?
Based on the simple fact that when he was born, I performed certain rituals.
And reversal is, I'll bless him with Satan. I mean, that really sums up the whole interview, I think.
Yeah, I'm really very glad to be done with that. David, there are going to be a lot of people who have all the normal questions about reverse speech. We're just hearing it tonight for the first time. David, how would people email you?
Well, they can email me at backwards@reversespeech.com. Backwards@reversespeech.com. You can also phone my office at 1-800-669-5789. That's 800-669-5789. Sometimes that line gets jammed, and if it's jammed, you can call through on our main number, which is 760-732-3097. And either of those two numbers will get me 800-669-5789 or 760-732-3097. I've received a couple of emails since I've been on the air. One was requesting reversing machines. We do sell the equipment to find reversals. We actually have just brought out a brand new machine. They actually hit our office tomorrow morning. They were shipped yesterday. It's a machine with a built-in speed control and counter, a built-in speaker. It's just really a fantastic machine, and we'll have them as of tomorrow. A couple of announcements I'd like to make. I'm lecturing in Portland on Saturday night. I believe we're practically sold out on that. I know it's. I know there's a few hundred people attending. You call my office for details on that. I also have my annual Reverse Speech Convention that's coming up on January the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. That's in the Los Angeles Arboretum. Richard Hoagland will be there, as well as Dennis Gersten, who has recommended me to the Nobel Committee, a fascinating, riveting speaker. Eldon Taylor will be there too, who you've had on Dreamland.
Oh, yes.
Talking about subliminal messages, and we're going to look at some of the connections between that. But the prime reason for the convention is I'm really throwing reverse speech open. I've held on to this very tightly for many years, and but my baby has come of age now, and I want to form a committee and a research organization. There's a whole bunch of reverse speeches out there now. There's new reverse speech websites springing up all the time, and I really like to make an appeal to all those people out there doing reverse speech. Let's all get together and pool our resources, because together, if we're combined, we can make a strong impact, and I am willing to and ready to let reverse speech go and bring us all together, and that's all going to be happening at the convention in January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And once again, you can call my office at 1-800-669-5789 for the convention, the Portland lecture, to inquire about reversing machines, books, tapes, videos, etc., etc. Thank you for the opportunity to say that out.
All right, you're welcome. Listen, I'm kind of shaken up actually by that stupid picture. David, take up the rest of the time through the top of the hour with playing what you would consider just some of your classic all-time reversals.
Well, I've got some of the NASA ones up on the site now, up on my computer now to play next. So let's just play some of them.
All right, so
I'll just pick and choose and float around.
all right, now these were two gentlemen I had, public relations people for NASA, who came on my program and answered many questions about the face on Mars, Richard Hoagland's research, though they didn't particularly want to mention his name. We covered those subjects, and that's what you're going to hear now.
Right, okay. Well, the first one I want to play is they're talking about Hubble telescope, and they're talking about the funding and how they allocate funding of some of the projects they want to work on in the future.
Right.
Well, okay. You press the play button and nothing happens.
The selection of access to use Hubble is made by committees, peer-reviewed committees of other astronomers who come to Baltimore, meet at the Institute, they sort through the proposals, make their recommendations to our director.
And in reverse, like I said, they're talking about funding for Hubble, but there's also some other funding they're wanting to pursue according to the reversal. And the reversal says what's locked up with their Starship. This needs to be known.
What's wrong with their Starship? This needs to be known.
That's very clear.
Extremely clear. My question is, what Starship? What on earth is he talking about?
Another one that probably struck me more than any other was they were talking about the face on Mars.
Right.
And the reversal, if I recall correctly, contained the word Cydonia.
Right.
Now, that is totally, utterly impossible unless reverse speech is real. Cydonia is not a word that would pop up out of garble. No way in hell.
And the point of fact, I have never heard the word Cydonia in reverse speech except for this one occasion, and it still remains the only occasion I've heard Cydonia. And for those listeners who don't know, the face on Mars is located in the region known as Cydonia. So here he is talking about mapping the surface of Mars. Shortly after it got there, mapping began that year. Viking Orbiter 1 sent back the picture, and then somebody noticed it on there, and it was kind of a neat thing, too. And the reversal, where involved with Cydonia. Very modest, Cydonia. Very modest, Cydonia. You know, and this is a NASA spokesman who claims they've got no interest in Mars, in the face of Mars or the Cydonia region. But here it is in their own words. Very modest, Cydonia. Very modest, Cydonia.
Impossible.
Right. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. And you know, there's the Mars mission too is not exactly, according to the reversals, what it appears to be. And I need to point out too that a lot of the stuff I've found on NASA has been independently corroborated by Richard Hoagland's research.
Correct.
Just adds even more credibility to this whole field. And here they are still talking about the face on Mars.
This feature that looks like a face, I believe it's about a mile across. Okay, and it's way below Hubble's resolution. The resolution we have is good for sort of global monitoring of Mars and sort of looking at Mars as a weather satellite from the Earth.
And the reversal is here, where riding a shielded vessel, talking about the mission to Mars that at this stage hasn't yet landed.
We're one shielded vessel. We're one shielded vessel.
Now, I had no idea what that reversal meant, but if you go to Richard Hoagland's site at enterprisemission.com, he's got some stunning photographs there that really probably answer what
we're riding a shielded vessel. David, I just received something that I need to pass on to you.
Yes.
With regard to the FBI reversal on Flight 800, remember the line, we flogged the wing?
Yes.
From Greg in Seattle, Art, flogging, in quotes, is advertising / business vernacular. It means roughly to aggressively sell or support or to push a particular product, ad, concept, or position.
Huh. We flogged the wing.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit lost on how that connects.
Well, in other words, they're spinning it.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. You know, and I've received several emails since I've been on the air. Let me read just one of them. David, that was an outstanding reversal on the TWA800 on our show just now. I think you may be right. Something is terribly wrong. It appears our government was part of something very evil. That is sad. And that was just one comment from the TWA reversal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, quite amazing stuff. Let's look at a couple more of these NASA reversals. This is about the space on Mars. You don't have a whole lot of pixels covering it, so you know these aren't the best pictures that you can make some kind of a determination. And I obviously wonder what's going on there. Now, this is two reversals I've got back to back here. So there's actually, normally there's a little bit of gibberish separating these reversals, but I've just spliced it. This one says, worst thing, are they hiding a fourth? It's two reversals with just a second or two of gibberish in between them. Where is there? Oh, how do you get fourth? And, you know, it's a question, the worst thing, worst possible case scenario. What is there on the face of Mars? Who are they? Are they hiding a fourth? It just raises all sorts of interesting questions. And let's just look at one more reversal on that line. And if we've got time, we can look at some other Mars reversals. We had some classic ones over the years, over the month. And this next one is also about the space on Mars. And we're just learning that right now. And here we go. And for the record, I think it's interesting that if you look at some of those pictures, you find Kermit the Frog and a couple of smiley faces on Mars. So, personally, I've never been convinced. I do. And this reversal says these ships are on it, but nobody's getting answered. They're almost totally for the answer. They're almost totally for the answer. What ships? What ships, indeed? Indeed, what starship? I mean, there's a whole bunch of questions here that need to be answered. And I was really thrown into this whole Mars UFO business cold. I really was, and had no idea what I was finding, or had no idea what was going on. And my whole research into this has uncovered this incredible extra scenario that's going on. There's a whole other intent, a whole other field of knowledge and research that the public certainly isn't being told about, that strongly hints at, boy, I don't know how to say this, but the contact with UFOs and ETs, knowledge of other civilizations or past civilizations on Mars, just a whole bunch of unanswered questions that must be answered as time goes on. And let's look at a couple more. These are some of the Mars conferences. There's the classic reversal, of course, that caused a lot of commotion at the Richard Hoagland conference in Pasadena, where the infamous man in black incident occurred.
All right, go right ahead.
Then set even greater land distance rover records on Mars by going a full 6 meters in autonomous fashion, as will be described later, over to this region behind these two rocks named Calvin and Hobbes.
Two reversals here. The first one says, reveal the dark city.
Reveal the dark city.
Reveal the dark city.
Reveal the dark city.
Reveal the dark city. Yeah, now when I found that reversal, I had absolutely no idea what that meant. And I've since, of course, become quite good friends with Richard Hoagland, as you know, and he's got some stunning reversals on his photos on his website that appear to show the remains of a city.
All right, we've just about blown this hour totally away. So what I would like to do is hold on to you, David, and when we come back, I would like to let the audience ask you some questions. We'll intersperse further reversals. Maybe they've got requests, because I know you've got a big file. So how about we open the lines?
Oh, sure. I love taking calls.
All right.